we're here on YouTube. So we're just getting the YouTube thing started. So if you happen to pop over YouTube and see us, say hi. You know, we love you on YouTube as well.
We love everyone always. Everywhere.
So, let me see if we can pull that. I want to pull that up about.
There's something in the waters, truth being told. Dehydrated bodies, only drink when we're allowed. Like flies to swarm gather.
Okay, guys. So what's going on? How's everybody doing tonight? You know what we should do real quick? I should share this on my personal page.
I did that.
There we are.
Yeah, it's on there now.
Alright guys, sorry. Lots to do here. A podcast is going down. Oh, that is a long song. I got requests for more air guitar, so I'm obliged to that. I just need to get rid of What's the name of that band, Lily?
Alter the Design.
I think they kick ass. What do you think?
They do. Well, I saw them live on Saturday, right before Puddle
yeah,
of Mud.
well, they did that CD release.
Yes.
Okay, and why don't you go ahead then and give us a little synopsis? How was the show?
It was phenomenal. I did not get to see Puddle of Mud, so I don't know how they did in comparison, obviously, but I did get to do the live interview right before the show with them, and they are awesome, and the show kicked ass. I enjoyed every second of their music, and hopefully people go check it out on Facebook.
So who all played?
I don't know who the first. It was a solo guy first, and I apologize. I don't remember your name. You're
Why
from
didn't they
Pittsburgh.
have me play?
Well, I don't know the rules.
Well, I'm going to have to hit up Alter. I got to hit up. Here's what I got to do. Is because, like, we don't charge ever charge bands to promote them, you know.
Oh, well,
you know,
no.
never.
Which-
However, but I probably could get something a little bit of love back by, you know, saying, hey, let me open your show. So, right? Probably a good
why
idea
not?
if I throw it out there.
Right.
You never know until you ask. I had a guy send me a friend request today. His name's John Motto, Motto, and I said, okay, I looked at his page,
He knows
and
me.
I checked out his page, and the second I accepted it, I got a message from him saying, check out my band. And I was like, dude, I said, you know, a lot of people would like be like, hey, dude, what the fuck? But I said, you're lucky because I'm in the business. He's like, my mom always told me if you didn't ask, you would get. I'm like,
I
"Good
mean,
advice."
he's super right on
So-
that.
So
But it was a really good show. I'm glad I caught it. I'm glad I was there.
Cool.
I'm glad I got to do the interview. They were fun on the interview. One was eating his nachos. It was very cash, but it was fun.
now, which one? I mean, a Puddle of Mud or
Alter the Design.
Alter the
I
Design?
didn't
You didn't
even,
interview Puddle. You didn't even get to meet those guys.
Nope. I had to go work after that. I had to go work for Icy Light.
Hey, give me an icy light.
You can sponsor our
And
show if
Icy
you'd like.
Light.
It'd be great.
Yes, I am to talk with a sponsor. I got a phone number today. I want to send a friend out. I want to send a thank you out to my friend Melissa Spurgell of Rodan and Fields. Did Melissa call you yet?
She messaged me on Facebook.
Okay.
I got to message her back.
And she is trying to hustle us a sponsor. And so I have somebody to call back tomorrow. So we shall see. So there's some cool stuff going on. And we're going to have a new Patreon page that's going to pop up here after first of the year with all kind of really cool stuff. Exclusive T-shirts. So you all know the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus T-shirts, but we're going to have ones that have
Special.
some special ones that have different stuff, and I'll make sure I will send you and Keith and Samantha T-shirts. These are going to be really, really cool. I'm working with an artist.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Balls out rock and roll. Balls deep rock and roll. So these are going to be very, very cool. They're going to be
I'm
a
pretty
little,
excited
yeah,
about it.
they're going to be a little bit different. So, okay, so we are getting into this whole thing about the scandalous world of rock and roll. And rock and roll, okay, Chris sent me, he said, I must have read the post wrong. It was an old school friend of mine that had passed away. Thank you, though, for touching announcement on the show. It was not your dad. Ooh, I wasn't sure, and I don't think I said that when we had actually started. I said that during the live thing, but that isn't on the recording. But Chris Thunderwolf, posted something. He lost a buddy this week, and just wanted to send it. Chris is a great super fan of ours, and we do appreciate all the support. So, Lily, we're talking about rock scandals, and I'm sure you're no stranger to scandals.
It's a.
Occupational hazard.
I mean, it happens.
You'll have that. So, tell us.
Rock and roll and all.
Let's. I have some in my mind, but what do you got on your list? Give us a. Good,
I do have
give
a favorite, which is going to end up being last.
Okay,
but
well, we'll do Lily's.
We'll start from a while ago. Jerry Lee Lewis.
Suck you. That was mine.
You're welcome. He decided to go do something fun and marry his 13-year-old cousin. Weird relative and 13. They tried to pass her off as 15 when he toured in the UK.
Yeah.
What's the difference? I don't know between 13 and 15, but that's kind of freaking weird.
Actually, there is a big difference between 13 and 15.
I don't know.
No, there is.
I don't know. To me, it's all. I didn't have
When
boobs at either
there's not a big difference between like 30 and 35.
I don't
But there's a big difference between 13 and 15. A lot can happen in
teenagers.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's weird to me.
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't mean
there's
to take yours.
That's depicted in the movie with Dennis Quaid called Great Balls of Fire. Now,
I didn't see that. I've been wanting to see that.
it's a fun
It's on
movie.
my list of things to watch.
And granted, this is an old one, okay? So some of you swinging teenagers
Read about it.
may not know about this. But, yeah, and Jerry Lee Lewis, let's give a little bit of background. Jerry Lee Lewis is one of the sort of great-granddaddies, maybe great-great-granddaddies
Of rock and roll?
rock music. At the time, he was a Sun Records artist. He was a sort of... he was to the piano what Chuck Berry was to the guitar. Okay, so just put it that way.
He was good.
Yeah,
He was
very
good.
passionate, very, edgy performer for his day. Stand on the piano, play with his foot and everything, just did some crazy shit. And but yeah, they had and I mean, the way it was sort of explained to me, the way I understood it was, in the South at that time, it really wasn't all that uncommon for people to marry cousins, and it wasn't like the sort of like stigma it is today.
It's the age thing, though.
But the age thing, and they did. In the UK, they were concerned that the people in England would be
freaking
out. And they did when it got exposed that she was only 13. The movie, it's a cool cast. Dennis Quaid plays Jerry Lee Lewis. Now, a lot of people don't realize this. Do you remember the preacher? And you might be too young to remember. There was a preacher who was involved in a big scandal, televangelist involved in a big scandal in the 80s. His name was Jimmy Swaggart.
I don't know.
Jimmy Swaggart, yeah, he was the. If you Google it, he was the guy that came on TV and cried, and said, "I sinned," and but they're cousins. And Alec Baldwin plays Jimmy Swaggart in the movie, and Winona Ryder plays the 13-year-old cousin.
Nice.
And it is it's a piece of rock and roll history right up there. It's one of those rock movies that like biopic that I think is like, if you're into rock music,
you should probably watch it.
It's a fun, it's not a documentary. It's just like a biopic. You check it out. It's a lot of fun. But so
all I could say was ew.
Yeah, and that is really this.
I mean, can you imagine someone trying to get away with that now? Oh my God, they would never jail.
Yeah,
right to jail.
Yeah, I heard that about Dave Grohl. No, I'm just kidding. I started a rumor about Dave Grohl.
Let's do that.
That's a joke. Sarcasm. Is Dave Grohl even married?
I have no idea. He's never ever in the news for anything bad.
I bet he's gay.
We can change that. Now all the gays.
Wouldn't that be like one of the? Now would be a scandal. Dave Grohl all of a sudden gets like a sex change, does like a Caitlyn Jenner kind of thing.
Be like a really ugly chick, though. I think. Like, I don't know. Like, at least Caitlyn Jenner sort of looks feminine.
No.
So a
It's
little.
not working.
A little. Well, it's because you know.
I ate Wheaties in the 80s with his picture.
That's because you know who
on that
he
frickin'-
is. If you didn't know any better, then you wouldn't even notice.
I think when I reached down there and found a tree trunk, I think I might notice something. So that is probably one of rock's early. What do you want to do? You want to bounce up to today, or how do you want to do it?
I'm just going to start reading my things.
Okay, what do you got here?
Here.
What are on your things?
My things. So Jim Morrison in 1969.
Explain who Jim Morrison is,
Jim
because
Morrison,
some people.
sorry, I know.
We have, you know what I mean. So we have a younger audience,
Yes.
and some of them don't know who Jim Morrison is.
Jim Morrison was the lead singer of The Doors in the 60s. When
Very important American rock band.
Yes.
If
kind
you
of
don't, if you're a
psychedelic.
rock enthusiast, you should know who the Doors are. If you don't, go to YouTube.
Educate yourself.
Yeah.
Wikipedia. I mean, whatever. Anyway, in 1969, he was arrested and received a felony charge for flashing his junk and simulating masturbation on stage, even though people in the... this was in Miami. People in the audience said it never happened.
Well, to quote Ted Nugent, when in doubt, I whip it out.
Well, he received a 6 months jail sentence, which, of course, he never served.
What Ray Manzarek says happened. This is working out good, because like you're kind of, and I'm filling in some.
Yeah.
This is working out good.
You're filling in the gaps there.
What Ray Manzarek, I'll explain who that is. That was the keyboard player. One interesting little side note about Ray Manzarek: the Doors did not have an official bass player. Ray Manzarek played the bass notes on the keyboard while playing keyboard at the same time.
I
One
like
of
him a
rock's
lot.
like great musicians, like probably underrated rock.
Also, a
musician.
good movie, The Doors. Check that out.
Yes, check that out. But anyways, Ray Manzarek has told the story several times, and Ray Manzarek has passed away recently since as well. But what he said that Jim did was he pulled down his pants, he stuck his hand down his pants, then pulled his pants. He stuck his hand down his pants, stuck his finger through his zipper, and wiggled his finger.
Which he was probably high and drunk.
And he was drunk. Yeah, they were all shit faced.
Surprise!
Like for 2 weeks
Rock
leading up
stars.
to that, and so that's what it is. And at the time, it was a different climate. I mean, we have in some ways, we have a more jaded culture to stuff like that. It's a little less of a. Also, TV is less important, and stuff like that is less important to people nowadays because we have so many media outlets. There's so much stuff all over the internet. And people are like, people see porn like accidentally. just turning on the internet.
Yeah.
So like, you guys may go like, I don't get it. Like, what's the thing? But
That
this
was
the
pretty
60s,
scandalous
and
in
that
the
was very
60s.
scandalous at that time. People weren't like exposed to, people went their whole lives and never saw porn or anything like that.
And it's just something you didn't.
There
do.
were married couples that didn't see each other's business. So
blankets and dark.
exactly. Did you ever see? I watched the Dick Van Dyke Show. They
They
slept
slept
in
in separate beds. Lucy and Desi.
But so anyhow, so that was that was and it was unfortunate because he ended up getting having, all kind of jail.
It kind of
problems.
started like his downward spiral sort of thing from there.
Okay, so give us another one. I'm going to play another song.
All right, we'll do John Lennon. John Lennon
Never heard of him.
is in the Beatles. If you don't even know who John Lennon is, then
Do you need to explain?
Shame on you.
One of the guitarist, singer-songwriters of the Beatles.
So in March 1966, in an interview with a UK newspaper, he quoted the singer with saying that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus. Didn't really go over well in the States. They had picketing at their shows, and they had a record burning over here of Beatles.
We need more record burning.
No, don't do that.
Since that, well, I mean, there's no record, so what are you going to do? Burn
Very
your
little less.
computer
Very
burnings.
there are left. Stop that.
Burn
your phones. But
yeah, computer. That just shows how old I am. I say computer. You're right. It's phone.
yeah. People take religion even still very seriously, so that was sort of
Especially in the U.S. I
yeah.
think this is a bigger thing in the U.S. than
I
it
don't
is.
think the UK cares.
Yeah,
much,
I don't.
but
Yeah, I don't think that they're nearly as.
they'd be more worried about him dating a 13-year-old or marrying one. Jerry Lee.
I'm going to go out and marry a 13-year-old tonight later on. You want to be the best person at my wedding?
Sure. Do his shots.
I'll be your best person. So, by the way, I switched from bourbon to red wine.
He's being an all old.
Trying
tonight.
not to get as fucked up, because but we'll see how it goes. Oh, Lord Jesus. So we had Jerry Lee Lewis marries his 13-year-old cousin. We had what else? What was the next one we had?
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison. We had another one. Did we? 3?
And then
John Lennon.
Yeah.
All right. I'm thinking about. You guys don't understand. Like, I have the computer here.
He's got a
I
lot
should
of
just
shit
show you
going
the whole
on.
screen. There's
He's
like
got a lot
zillion
of shit
things on
going
the
on.
screen, and I'm trying to get to the next thing and everything. So,
Real
listen
quick.
to Loudini. Yes, something? You need to do something?
Just real quick, David Taylor. If you mean the band that we just played, it was Alter the Design. If you're he is.
Yeah,
asking
you know
about
what?
the
We
band.
did. We opened the show with Alter the Design. Great band, and I'm going to go ahead and throw their website at you, and it is very simple, alterthedesign.com. That's one of the things I try to do here is I try to, give the websites and stuff for the bands because you guys can go check them out. Everything's internet-based, so you just go over and check them out. If you go to our website and click on the podcast, you can see links to stuff and little articles about these guys, so you can get more info.
Easy access.
Yeah, you can easy access.
Speaking of scandals.
Speaking of scandals, so we're going to come back with more great rock and roll scandals. You got some? I hope you have some metal scandals in there.
I have one. Quite honestly.
There's more than Ozzy biting the head off.
Oh, then I don't have Ozzy biting the head. I have Ozzy doing something else, but I also have a Judas Priest one.
Okay. All right. So we're going to come back with all that fun stuff here, but we're going to go ahead and play this band, Component Computer. Oh, this is a band, Circadian. This is a guy that messaged me today. This is not our Smash or Trash. We'll do that We'll do that closer to the end. But he messaged me today, and I think this is kind of cool. I will warn you, if you were like, I can't hear any rap. Don't rap. Then I'm just saying, there is some of that. But it's a rock thing.
listen.
It's not a... it's very cool. I think that they have a great sound. The song's great. The lead vocal is John. I don't know if you're the lead singer or not. Is John the singer?
That I don't know. I just met him myself.
The song is a very well-crafted song. The band sounds tight as fuck, and the singing is absolutely out of this fucking world. Check it out. Circadian Fire on the Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus. The Ozzy thing is a bit of a cliche. So I'm not like, you know, oh my God, if we don't do the Ozzy thing, like, let's drum. Yeah.
Fire now, it's gonna turn your heart out. So slow down, slow down. I know it's time that we all stand up and take a look in this life of luxury. So don't you be afraid to take back what's yours in this life, 'cause life's meant to be lived free. Yeah, fire, it's gonna burn your heart out. Slow down, slow down. Yeah, fire now, it's gonna turn your heart out. Slow down, slow down. I had a death wish, my escape was reckless, almost famous, until the natives got restless. I left them breathless with balls and guts and generated so much heat it settled all the dust, only to erupt into sparks
Like,
of flames. They set
honestly,
every watch the fire spread through my veins. I can feel the ego
Okay, we'll talk about that.
tears.
I have an
As the
answer
ground
for this
opened
one,
up and
too.
consumed the fears. Fire, it's gonna
I would
burn your
take
heart
that
out.
over.
Slow down, slow down.
Yeah.
Fire now, it's gonna burn your heart out. Slow down, slow down. Now let me educate you back to the right way. Best things best, eradicate all hate. Don't teach kids what they've always been taught. I know you see those lessons, they don't work anymore. Lest we forget the struggles that we feel. Now the fire that you burn's dying out for real. As you sit in smoke saying please forgive me, the ground opens up and swallows you complete. Fire, it's gonna burn your heart out. Slow down, slow down. Yeah, fire now, it's gonna turn your heart out. So slow down, slow down.
Stop. Jack's Rose came on. They have a song. Their song is traffic. Rising. Is it Toronto or something? Yeah. I'm digging this. I think this is really good.
Fire, it's gonna burn your heart out. So slow down, slow down. Yeah, fire, it's gonna burn your heart out. So slow down, slow down. Fire, it's gonna burn your heart out. Slow down, slow down.
I think it's really good.
It's gonna burn your heart out. Slow down, slow down.
I freaking love that. I think it's
that's
really, I'm telling you guys, that was a killer fucking song. You want to go to circadian.com. Spelled a little weird. I'm not sure. I hope I'm saying it right. I'm thinking like circadian, like your circadian rhythms. You know, they say we're in tune with the planet, and that's why we wake up when it starts to get light, and we go to sleep when it starts, you know.
Yeah.
But it's spelled Serkeidian. Not the easiest band name in the world to spell, but a great fucking band. I just thought that rocked. So
there's going to be a replay of that on Thursday on my show.
you're gonna do it,
Yeah.
okay? All right. You guys made a couple fans here, and this is how we do it. This is how it's done.
We gotta go
in
to 90s Night, Lou.
In 2018, 2019, guys, listen to me. Before we get into the next scandal, I want everybody, whatever, if you're watching live, you're looking at the video, just hit your share button. Just share it. Okay, this is how people get to find out about bands like Alter to the Design and Circadian, and we're going to play Mishti and 86 Bullets and Lombardi Strangelove a little bit later on. Hit the share button here. Those guys suck. Hit the share button and let your friends know these bands are so fucking cool. It's not really about us. I mean, we hope that you like us too, but we want to get the music out there. This is, everybody's bitching. No good music. Well, here's the good music. Right, exactly.
Get off Netflix.
Get off fucking Netflix. Get onto Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Hit the share button. If you're listening to it in replay, if you're cranking up to your iTunes, or you're listening to it on Rock Rage Radio, whatever, every one of these platforms has some kind of share button. You don't have to become a rock promoter. Just share it to whatever your favorite social media platform is. If you're a Twitter person or an Instagram person, whatever you like,
Tweet that shit.
hit it. I'd hit that. I'd hit that. When I play band for now, I'm going to say, I'd
You
hit
did
that.
hit it,
I'd hit
actually.
that. I'd hit that. Okay, so Circadian, love the band. Open the show with Alter to the Design. Great band. We have a couple cool bands. We have more cool bands coming up in a little while. We are talking about the I mean, you rockers, man, you guys have done some right? They done some fucked up shit.
Fucked up shit.
So,
A lot
do
of
you
fucked
know
up
about? Do you know this one? Do you know about Slash taking an actual lion on
Yes,
tour?
I've heard of this.
Dude, what drugs were those? Really?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't take my pet lion on tour. He
mean-
stays at home.
That's like some fucked. A lion?
How
How do you even? And look, I'm not a bleeding heart at all, but I am kind of thinking that can't be the best situation for a lion.
It could get pissed off really easily.
I know,
and then eat
it's
your
got to
face.
be it's got to be kind of frustrated because you'd have to confine it, and you couldn't just let it run. I mean, he did let it run around a bit, and it scared the shit out.
Eventually, if I was this
lot
lion,
of
I'd be like,
people.
motherfucker, I just want to stay at home, and I would eat your face. And that's just how
Slash
it's
is
gonna be.
also he's into animals. He has a whole bunch of snakes.
That's
and
cool.
I don't remember who was one of the. I don't know if it was Axel or one of the other band members said that they went over there and they were all over the place. I'd be like, Slash, you're a great guitar player, but
Get rid of the snakes.
I'll talk.
bud.
No, you don't have to get rid of them. But I'm not gonna be hanging out with snakes. I'll tell you a funny story. This was many years ago. This is like in the early 2000s. What was the website? It was one of those dating sites, and I met this girl, and we went out, and then she told me she had a pet snake, and I was like, okay, and then she's like, oh, we let it crawl around, it gets in bed with us. I'm like, I'm never coming to your house. This is never. We might as well just.
Well, bye.
I
It's
took.
been
I
nice.
did. I did. I took her right back to her car and said, "It was really nice meeting you. Take care of yourself." And she was all mad. In the car again. I'm like, fine. You know what? No.
Snakes is my deal breaker,
No. I could just see me getting busy and something.
Crawling up in
what's
your butthole.
What's going on back there? I mean, no.
You know, my landlord didn't say I couldn't have a snake.
I respect whatever you want to have. That's totally fine.
just
But
gonna
I'm
get a
not
fish.
gonna crawling around in the bed.
Yeah, that's kind
No.
you can't really cuddle a snake, so.
She claimed that you could. It was very bizarre.
I mean, they're not furry. I guess it'd be worse if they
I
were.
really hope. I honestly can't remember her name off the top of it. But I hope that you're married and really happy
With all your snakes.
and with all your snakes, and I hope it all worked out. I hold no bad feelings. It's just no.
I'm good.
So, those are one of my scandals.
We're not going to talk about mine.
We're done. We'll talk about one of Lily's scandals. Lily will give us one scandal of
we're
hers
not
later.
Do that.
Yes, she will.
No.
So why don't you go ahead and tell us about another great rock scandal?
We're going to talk about Ozzy Osbourne, and no, I'm not talking about the bat. Okay? I'm over the bat story. We're going to talk about Ozzy Osbourne. First of all, if nobody knows who he is, Black Sabbath, he does solo, that whole... You should know who he is.
Ozfest. Yeah,
Ozfest.
Especially if you're listening to Rock Rage Radio, hopefully you know who Ozzy is. If you don't, what the fuck, dude? Go ahead.
Stop. In
Get
1982...
the fuck out of here. Go home and get your fucking shine box.
Oh, and here we go. In 1982, he was arrested in San Antonio for peeing on the Alamo.
He apologized. He felt bad.
The city council banned the rocker from making any public appearances in the city, and 10 years later, he was finally pardoned, and he donated $10,000.
Or $10,000.
$10,000 to the Daughters of the Republic of Texas. So money obviously buys you your way out of things, as we know.
2 words. O.J. Simpson.
And bye. I guess we're done on this show.
So,
Peed on the Alamo. Like, why?
Because he had to pee, and there was no
Isn't
place.
it a whole fucking
He probably didn't
desert
even,
or something?
Let me tell you something. He's from England. He doesn't know what the fucking Alamo. It's like, what the fuck? I bet 9 Ways to Sunday that is the real story behind it. He was
just
somewhere.
had to
He was drunk. He had to take a leak. He whipped it out. He didn't know it was a fucking Alamo. He's from England. What the fuck does he know about the goddamn
He doesn't
Alamo?
know shit about it. He saw a
doesn't-
building and he peed.
And there's a lot of stuff he doesn't know about. I mean, it's not a big leap to think that Ozzy might not know what the fucking Alamo is. I mean, really? I mean, it's like when I heard that story too, and that was my first thought. I'm like, what
does he
Yeah,
know?
but that's Texas for you. They get all, come on. They got all that Texas pride and all that shit.
Oh yeah, that's a huge deal down there though.
That's a
So
whole
they were
big
mad
fucking
about it. Arrested for peeing.
I love Texas, and some of my favorite musicians are from Texas. Charlie Sexton, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Doyle Bramwell the third. I mean, like the second. I mean, I love Jimmy Vaughn. Tons of great bands. Austin City Limit's one of my favorite shows. But
Austin, Texas is wonderful. I love that city.
Texas, like you need to chill out a little bit. Just calm down.
They're very prideful there.
As we say in Pittsburgh, James Days need to calm down.
Yeah, but if somebody peed on a terrible towel, people would be like up in arms here.
I wipe my ass with a terrible towel every Saturday morning.
We're gonna have a talk
Just
later.
It's a joke. It's a joke. J-O-K.
I'm
Joke.
totally offended by everything you're saying right now.
It's like somebody posted some meme on the internet about people being offended, and so I went and just did a quick Google search, and there's all kind of psychologists who've written articles this is like an epidemic in the United States.
It truly is.
Where people are offended.
It's sick.
It's it's in your mind. Calm down. I mean, really. Jeez, I'm sorry, I get all excited.
Especially when you can wipe your butt with the terrible towel, dick.
You're not a big sports fan.
I like my Steelers.
I do too. I'm not against the Steelers. I'm just joking around. But and I just want to throw one little side note out there, and I need you to immediately go to the next one as soon as I finish this, because I'm not getting into this, but I just want to throw this out there. The people that are calling for Tomlin to be fired, are you sure you're not racist?
All right.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Stop. All right, the next one.
Racist.
I hate you. So, we're going to talk about Sid and Nancy. Does everybody know who Sid and Nancy is?
Explain.
Okay.
Now, this is a little more, I don't want to say obscure. I mean, we are music nuts.
Right.
So we know.
Well, this is a punk band, the Sex Pistols, Sid Vicious was a part of. Nancy was his girlfriend. Or were they married? Or was it just his girlfriend?
I believe it was just
Okay, well, anyway. Punk rock from, that was the 80s, 70s, 80s? Mm-hmm. Okay. The couple were living in a hotel for about a month and a half. The front desk got a call from Sid saying something was wrong with Nancy, and she was found bludgeoned and stabbed multiple times dead. Then the police arrested Sid for murder, but way before the trial began, Sid died of an overdose. So, obviously, all the signs point to him actually doing all of this, but it never got to go to trial because he died. So they're both dead.
Well, if you want to know the true story, you need to
that's
see
what
the
I read.
movie.
Obviously, that's real.
Sid and Nancy. But Gary Oldman plays
I
Sid
know.
Vicious.
I know.
Gary Oldman, Commissioner Gordon. Is it? He's play Commissioner Gordon in Batman. He was in Batman. He was
Yeah.
Like he's like an older, kind of guy now. But he played freaking Sid Vicious way back. Let me see. When was this movie? When did this movie come out?
Oh, that was 80s. 86.
86. I did see the movie. These people lived.
They had a very violent relationship. Both of them. They both were.
Well, what I'm saying is punk is a different thing. Punk is just the antithesis of the hippie thing.
Yeah. Well,
the
I had to
hippie
bring
thing
this
was
up,
all
though.
about the peace and the love. The punk was all about the giant middle finger to everything. Like that, There's a scene in the movie where there's a dog. There's all these cars parked alongside the street, and there's a dog in one, and they're not trying to rescue the dog. they just think they want to pet this dog. So they just pick up something and smash this guy's windows out just so they can pet his dog. It's like, that was like, they just was like, it was a total like anti-society kind of like movement. And they lived just like, it was just, but you're right. That's what happened before anything where he could stand trial or anything. He died too, but who knows what happened? We shall.
They used to beat the shit out of each other all the time.
Can women abuse men?
Yes, of course they can.
You heard it first.
I mean, it's true.
Okay, so Sid and Nancy. That's it. That was a big rock and roll scandal. More in the punk scene, but yeah, go ahead.
It's counts.
Oh, it's one of those. No, it's murder. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's pretty about as big as you can get.
So let's go to
Courtney Love. Good.
Not Courtney Love. We're not going to talk about her. Evil.
We got to talk about Courtney.
All right. Well, anyway, Tommy Lee and Pam Anderson. Tommy Lee is from Motley Crue, the drummer. Pam Anderson was on Baywatch. Does everyone know who that is? I would hope so. She's got the big boobs. Super hot girl.
Barbed wire.
Barbed wire. Yes, that wonderful Oscar-worthy movie.
Yeah, I know, but she was kind of hot in that. Like,
she's hot.
Everybody wanted to see Pam Anderson in leather and everything, and I was like, that was all that movie was for. But go ahead.
Anyway, in 1998, their little sex tape that they had surfaced, and it went viral online, of course. The stolen footage was taken when the couple was on their honeymoon, and they later won a $1.5 million lawsuit, and the porn company that had the tape agreed to destroy all the copies. But guess what, guys? We already saw it already, so it's fine. No big deal. We already saw your wang, Tommy. I ain't never touching you. That's terrifying. There's only so much room.
So what you're saying is Mr. Lee is a well-hung gentleman?
Yeah, it's like a freaking sea monster. Hi, Mom. I see you're watching.
This is the sea monster free version of the Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus. I said hard.
So that was, and that was like one of the very first sex tapes that like was a big deal.
Well, but wasn't there a sex tape with her and
Bret Michaels? But that surfaced later, I guess.
And he said that he felt bad because he thought she was a very sweet girl and she didn't deserve to kind of be humiliated.
Except for she did it again.
Let me ask you
Keep it up.
Do you think Pam Anderson is just kind of just like literally a dumb blonde, or do you think like she's kind of a sweet girl who kind of got taken advantage of?
Okay, so I don't think she's a dumb blonde. I think she's very intelligent, knows exactly what she's doing.
So you felt like this was like maybe even part of her kind of like marketing, kind of her brand.
I think she's a genius.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, she stole Tommy Lee off of Bobby Brown. Literally, like after a week of dating.
Explain, not Bobby Brown, the black R&B artist.
The cherry pie girl from the Warrant video.
Yeah, Tommy Lee and Bobby Brown were in a relationship. It's my prerogative.
It's the cherry pie girl.
To date heavy metal guys with big dicks.
Bobby Brown is actually, she has a show on Rock Rage Radio with Charisse Neal.
I know, Bobby, I apologize, because we're on Rock Rage too. We love you guys.
I read her book, which is fantastic.
She's the actress from She's My Cherry Pie.
She's in a couple of videos. She's in a Great White video. She's in the Cherry Pie video, of course. Beautiful, model-esque Southern girl. Her book's fantastic. You should read it sometime. It's called Dirty Rocker Boys. She talks about all of her loves, and this was the one that kind of killed her because, you know, she was in love with Tommy Lee.
Aw, well, I mean, hung like a freaking tree trunk. What the fuck?
Sea monster.
Tommy the Sea Monster.
Lee.
Do you have on your list the situation with Metallica?
No, I didn't.
Guns N' Roses. Let me throw one out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since it is the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, sometimes. So Metallica and Guns N' Roses do a show together. Like at the time, whatever 90, whatever. This is like the biggest rock concert you could go to. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like Metallica and Guns N' Roses together. I believe it's in Canada. I'm not sure. But there is James Hetfield gets a little confused, and is not sure where he's supposed to be standing when the pyrotechnics go off. Burns his arm very badly. He's like, has to be rushed off stage, rushed to a hospital. He's got very severe burns. You know, they're worried that, like, it's going to send him into cardiac arrest. It's like a very serious situation. So they get taken off the stage, and Guns N' Roses comes on. Like, we got to do something. So Guns N' Roses comes on, and Axl gets through about a song, and he may not even get through the entire first song, I'm not sure, and just says, these monitors suck, I'm not playing. So you paid all this money, 90s prices, to see this show, and you're excited, and not only does Metallica have to stop early, Axl Rose takes his band
quits
off stage, like, yeah, just after, like, for no reason, just throws the mic, you know, and, well, literally, boom, went to dynamite, because it was a riot, and all kind of people got hurt. It was a really ugly situation. And, you know, I heard James Hetfield talk about this, like, in retrospect, and I kind of agreed with him. Now, don't know Axl's mind, you know, not inside his head or whatever, and I'm sure there's a lot of drugs involved, and I believe that Axl Rose is actually a different person nowadays. I get the impression he's like, realizes some stuff. But he said that, you know, and I agree with him. James Hetfield's like, this guy is the biggest front man of that era. And he could have taken his band on stage and burnt the fucking place down with the most blistering set they ever played. But instead he cops the attitude and runs the stage. Because it was almost like he didn't want to be upstaged by Metallica's, like, problem. Like, he wanted to be the guy with the bigger problem, somehow.
That's his way.
And it was like a whole thing. And I'm sure that was drug-fueled as well, because those guys were doing, Jesus, I mean, just Slash is supposed to be dead. Just we talked about this before. He should have been dead years ago, but, you know. So, you know, the drugs, the kids, you got to know when to say when.
Or just don't do the wrong things.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, but really, calm down. Are we allowed to talk about drugs on Rock Rage Radio?
I just think we're not allowed to do them on the air.
We are not doing any drugs.
Just alcohol.
Drugs are bad. You shouldn't do drugs. Give us one more and then we play another song.
All right. I am going to talk about something here. How about Razzle and Vince Neil? Nicholas Razzle Dingley was from Hanoi Rocks, which was an 80s band. He was killed in a car accident. The car was driven by Motley Crue's Vince Neil, lead singer. Both bands were at a party. The two had already been drinking when they decided to make another beer run. Neil lost control of the car on the winding road down the hill. They smashed into another car. Everyone had injuries. Poor Razzle actually just was dead on arrival at the hospital. Neil was obviously in a lot of trouble for that, but he was released from his 30-day jail sentence 10 days early for good behavior, paid his way out with a check for $2.5 million, and he said he should be in jail, but he got 30 days and he got laid and drank beer. So basically he murdered someone, paid $2.5 million, and got out of it.
Money changes everything.
So that's very sad because I think that I haven't heard a lot of Hanoi Rocks, but I do like what I do know of them. So I think they could have gone a little.
As I was saying, drugs are bad. You shouldn't do drugs.
Wow.
Drugs are bad.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So we're gonna play another band. Another band. You should always listen to bands. Okay, we're getting up. We believe we've been almost an hour.
I know. And happy birthday, Nikki Sixx.
Nikki Sixx.
He's 60 today.
Congratulations. And he looks goddamn good, I think.
I know.
I love his YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. It's very cool. They get on, they do My Favorite, it's called My Favorite Riff, and he gets like musicians like from all kind of different genres on, blues guys and stuff. It's very cool. What's interesting about that is like you see him in a kind of different way. You know, you see him as like a guy who's like a music enthusiast who loves music, and it kind of reframes what he does. It's very, very cool. So if you haven't checked it out,
very smart.
My Favorite Riff with Nikki Sixx. It's a cool YouTube channel. So we're gonna play another band. Shouldn't play bands. But we're going to play another band. Oh, we haven't played a lady yet. So this is Mishti, Obsessed on the Loudini Hard Rock and Metal. Guys who are listening in the replay cannot see me playing air guitar to that. That is Mishti.
It was fun.
Mishti. Killer singer-songwriter. If you'd like to know more about Mishti, go to LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. There is an interview with her from, I don't know, a few months ago. I don't know, maybe almost a year ago. New York area artist. They get, if you're like Brooklyn or you don't want to hear you're from New York City. If you're from Manhattan, you're like, you're not from New York City. Like New York City, we who are not of that area just lump everything into New York. But so she's from one of those places up there. Check it out, mishti.com. And so we were talking about rock and roll scandals today. So what do you got? You got anything else you want to mention?
I want to do my favy.
Oh, Lily's going to do her favorite.
Which is Guns N' Roses.
More Guns N' Roses, those bastards.
In 1986, Adriana Smith, great name, Adriana, girlfriend of the drummer Steven Adler, flew to New York to spend time with the band while they were finishing mixing their debut album, Appetite for Destruction, which featured the song Rocket Queen. Great song. Her and Axl were drinking at the bar. They decided to leave the bar, head for Media Sound Studios. after the singer convinced her to help on Rocket Queen. She didn't really know what she was getting into at the time. Her and Axl ended up in one booth, 2 sound guys in another, and recorded hours of footage of them having sex. So all the infamous sounds are now featured on the song Rocket Queen, and she's actually never made a dime from it. But she still hangs out with the band.
Well, you know,
to this day.
That's a real woman. Because she's not in it for the money. She got
She's
laid,
in it to get laid
and enjoyed herself.
She cheated
It's
on
like,
Adler.
So what?
For Axl. I would do it too. I would do it too.
You know, I mean, come on. It's
Who
just
could
crazy.
who would want Adler when you can have Rose?
I want to mention probably probably one of the, if not, let me mention a couple sort of honorable mentions. Kiss. They just the whole Kiss thing was a controversy.
Kiss in general.
Just in general. From the whole, it's kids in Satan's service, to like Gene Simmons had his tongue lengthened, you know.
him having sex with over 1,000 women.
Yeah, I mean, just like there's tons
All
of
the things.
just the whole thing with Kiss, like everything about Kiss. It was like the whole band was a freaking like extravaganza of controversy.
It was literally a circus.
Let me see. Oh, another sort of if you can take another Motley Crue thing here, because there's tons of them. There's a lot of people. I know there's tons I'm forgetting. Nikki Sixx and Ozzy. Well, Nikki Sixx, I think, died, what, twice?
He's died twice.
She's died twice. And him and Ozzy snorting ants.
They were sort of in a weird competition with each other doing the weird shit. I read that in the dirt.
How much stuff they could
do, yeah.
Keith Richards, speaking of snorting, Keith Richards snorting his dad's ashes.
Yes, I've heard about that.
In the book, The Hammer of the Gods, there's reference to Led Zeppelin.
I have that on here, but I didn't read
with
it.
excuse me, a woman.
It's a chick. A groupie.
In their hotel room, and they were fishing where this crazy where you could fish off the outside the window, and they were taking fish and throwing them in the bed with a woman, and apparently there was a mud shark involved, which could have been very, very dangerous. And
they quote by saying putting it in her lady bits. It's just they were sticking in her vag.
Would you like us to put in your lady bits for you? Yes, we like that.
And her butthole.
We like stuff in our lady bits, in our bum holes.
I hate you. Oh, do you want me to do the Judas Priest one?
Oh, do Priest, because I got a couple other. Go ahead.
Okay, so Priest was accused from their Stained Class album of 2 guys actually killing themselves from listening to it for hours and hours, but they were drinking and, you know, doing drugs and everything, and there was a whole lawsuit against it. The suit went to trial in 1990. They were playing songs every which way you could to hear these subliminal messages that caused these kids to kill themselves, and say that they were brainwashed. Ultimately, the judge decided that the group was not responsible for it. The kids had already troubled lives to begin with. One ended up living after the incident for about 3 years after that. He was very badly disfigured.
There's a documentary about the whole backward masking thing. And you can find it. I think Guy MTV has it. A couple of different outlets have it. You can find it on YouTube. And the kid who lived, it's disturbing. Like,
yeah, he was
they interview
badly
him, and it's
disfigured.
It's hard to look at.
But it was like messages like try suicide and do it and let's be dead. And it's like, guys, it's music. Like, if you've already been drinking for 6 hours and smoking pot for 6 hours,
honestly, I don't believe them at all.
Yeah.
I think they are just, they did
Troubled
something
children.
stupid, and somebody was like, well, we have to blame somebody. This music,
Yeah, I hate that.
And there's there is some great, and you can find it on YouTube as well, some great footage of people like Dee Snider and Frank Zappa addressing Congress about these subjects. And these guys are very fucking articulate. Like, Dee Snider might be one of the smartest guys in heavy metal. Yeah. I mean, he's just like a very, very well-spoken guy, knows what he speaks. And Frank Zappa, rest in peace, the same way. So, I think I call total fucking shenanigans on that. I don't believe them at
I hate
all.
when people blame the
They
media.
had bad lives. It sucked. They were listening to music. Like, if I'm depressed and I start to listen to real moody music, that's gonna take me in. And if I'm like party, you know, maybe I'm drinking a little bit.
Me in a better
it's gonna
mood.
take me into. It might take me into a dark. It could take me into a darker place. But that isn't the band's fault. Let alone backwards messages. Anyways, I want to throw a few more honorable mentions out there. We sort of touched on it. The PMRC, which was people like Tipper Gore who got together after the. I love it. Prince, thank you. Darling Nikki, and the parents freaked the fuck out, and it was a big thing. And we have to put warning labels on records, and I think that has all gone away now because of the internet. Because people get music. I mean, actually,
I need one of those stickers for my forehead.
Yeah. You will find that on, like, if you go to download an album or something, it'll say explicit. If you go to download the Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus, almost all the episodes say explicit. Thank you. You can thank Tipper Gore and the PMRC for that.
It just makes more people want to watch.
Babies being born at Woodstock. I don't know if that's true or not, but that was kind of a controversy. There's a big one I'm sort of saving up for the very, very
Cynthia Plaster Caster.
Kiss again, like I said.
All of them. Hendrix was her first. This woman, this super groupie used to take casts of rock stars' penises and keep them as trophies.
So tons of stuff, but I'm gonna wrap up this episode, this part of what we're talking about, with probably the biggest rock scandal, I think, of all time. Now, this is not a hard rock or heavy metal thing, but almost anybody who's 20 and older knows this story. And that's the story of Michael Jackson and his supposed inappropriate behavior with children. Highly controversial. There's a lot of people who knew Michael personally who say, no fucking way. No way. They knew him personally. They said he was just because he was childlike himself. He related to children. He wasn't
and he
like
didn't
that.
have a childhood, so to speak.
Exactly. I mean, if you ever see, there's a speaking of biopics, there's a biopic about them on that VH1 produced. There's tons of documentaries about it. Anyways, Geraldo, who was very close to Michael Jackson, interviewed him many times, went to the, been to his house many times, says no way. Nancy Grace would love to pull him out of the grave and hold him for trial right now. So, it's a very controversial thing. I believe this is probably the biggest scandal. It's not rock or metal, but probably the biggest scandal ever in pop music. Even, it's even funny, not funny, but kind of interesting, the fact that that's even a bigger scandal than people being involved with murders, like the Sid and Nancy thing, the other stuff you mentioned, and another one that it's kind of controversial. I should have mentioned this before the Michael Jackson thing, because the Michael Jackson thing, I believe, really is the biggest one. I will throw this out there because this is slightly Kurt Cobain blowing his head off, huge scandal, but did he or was it a murder? And
I think it was murder.
There's a couple of documentaries out there that are very intriguing. You can check that out for yourself, and you can kind of decide what is your most sort of thought-provoking or interesting rock, metal, hard rock, pop, music, whatever scandal.
Music
Scandal. What is the one that kind of keeps you up at night, or you think about, or gets your attention if you see some blurb about it on social media? Let us know. We're very interested. We're going to do something a little bit different right now. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us. Lily did a great applause to Lily V6. She did a great job, as always.
Scandals are my favorite thing.
I am the warrior.
Yeah,
I am the warrior. The band Scandal.
I know.
from them their 80s. So, okay, so I got this email yesterday from this young lady's publicist, and she says, "Can you play this artist for me on your podcast. I'm going to go ahead. Jessica Mora was the publicist. She emailed me. Mora May Agency. And the artist is Kelsey Carter. Now, I'm just going to do a quickie stream from her SoundCloud page. And y'all.
Great. You have an idea. Actually, that's a pretty great idea. You should use Squarespace to get a custom domain. Maybe you should build a web.
By the way, there are ads now on SoundCloud.
That sucks.
Well, they've been in terrible financial trouble for years and years and years, so they're trying to make it up. So this is Kelsey Carter, not Kelsey Grammer. And I'm going to play a little bit of this, and you guys tell me what you guys think, and if this is something that kind of fits within the genre. I mean, we did play Mishti, who has she's got synthesizers and stuff going on too, so just...
I didn't take it like you wanted, so I kissed him on the neck and shot him dead. He's such an artist, how he paint a broken promise. Now he's laying on the floor covered in red. Hey, and if I'm honest, killed a man to keep him modest. Yeah, he broke me, so I had to get revenge. When they come for me, I'll be gone for miles, baby. I never think of you this way.
What do you guys think? Do you think it's smash or trash? You think this is rock, or you think it's too pop? What are your feelings on it? What do you... I'll play a little bit more.
Down and outside. Catch me if you can. Ooh, catch me if you can.
Okay, Lily, what are your thoughts on it? Or do we have any... I don't know if we have any comments yet. We just...
We don't have any comments yet on it. However, I like it, but I don't think it's rock. I think it's a little more poppy. I would definitely dance to it, for sure. I do like it. I just don't think it belongs with rock.
Okay. All right.
But my ass would be on the dance floor.
I'm probably going to reach back out to them, and I'll probably do an interview with Kelsey if I can get her on the podcast. I think it's cool. I think it's catchy. I think it's fun.
I like it a lot.
But I wouldn't play it on the show.
No, it doesn't really fit with our stuff. But no, totally cool song. Like, I like it a lot.
Her voice reminds me of the do you know the song X's and O's?
Yeah.
Her voice reminds me a little bit of that type of voice.
We did get one comment, well, two actually. David Taylor says it's pop, and Douglas Phillips says I'd be like peace.
I'd be like peace.
Like bye.
Peace out. Like peace, but get the fuck out. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
So, did we get any comments today or not? Because
we got a couple.
We these shows are crazy. Like, rock rate. Well, we're over the hour.
Facebook likes to cut me off on the comments, so we get a lot of them, but then I can't see half of them after a while. Billy Minks said our audio stream sounds a lot better.
Dunka.
Couple of bands who I told to message us are trying to pump their stuff, so I just said message us.
Yeah, hit us up because we want to play it.
Ryan Cania said like to hear some Aspired Infliction. I'm assuming that's a band. Chris Thunderwolf said is Ozzy's quoting Sharon, what am I peeing on?
Good one, Chris.
My mom Tracy says hello. Douglas Phillips said Nikki is 60. Yes, I know. Happy birthday. And that's about it. I'm sorry. Like I said, it cuts us off. We do have Tracy Sams and Chris Thunderwolf still watching. War for the Crown is watching. That's a band I have seen live in New Jersey. They're pretty good. I play them on my show. So message.
We get more views sometimes in replays too. So do me a favor, guys. If you haven't already, share the podcast. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're listening in the replay on Podbean or iTunes or whatever, share the podcast. What are you doing? This is how we promote the music. This is how we get it out there. You're listening to Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus. In a little while, we're going to jump over to my private channel. And unless you're a subscriber, and we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about next week. I haven't even shared this with Lily yet.
I know.
So, yes, we have plans. I think I've got a good topic. We're going to have Keith on next week, I'm pretty sure. And I think this topic will really be right up his alley. I think he'll really have a lot to say about it. So we're going to get into that. But let's see here.
Just a little announcement.
Go ahead. Give your announcement.
Listen to my show, Hot Licks with Lily Sixx, Thursday nights on Rock Rage Radio. You can do it on the app, or you can just stream it straight from the website, rockrageradio.com. And just a little reminder, my birthday is in 3 weeks, and I take...
I think Visa, MasterCard, and Discover.
I take concert tickets in size 4 seats. So if anybody wants to send me concert tickets, that'd be great. So I will be 37. In case anyone wants to know.
27. I want to mention, we mentioned this earlier in the podcast, and I kind of wanted to we try to touch on some, like, what's going on in rock right now, you know, some interesting stuff like that. And Frankie Perez, Geezer Butler, Steve Stevens, and Matt Sorum have gotten a band together, and I believe it's called Deadland Ritual. And I better not try to play it.
Yeah, you'll get your
yeah, they'll
your
be
hands
like, you know, we'll get
you'll get sued.
Yeah. So, but so I'm glad the Geezer's doing something. I have not listened to it yet, so hopefully it doesn't suck.
That should be interesting.
That could be a good lineup.
I think.
I dig all those players. Matt Sorum, I thought, was a great drummer. He just got really messed up with drugs when he was in Guns N' Roses. And they had to get the fuck out, Matt. If you're too messed up on drugs in Guns N' Roses, you're messed up on drugs.
There's something
what
wrong.
What the fuck, dude? I mean, if it's worse than carrying a lion with you on tour, there's problems. Big problems. Lily, anything else? Any rock news? Anything you want to tell the audience about? Because I know that you're sort of keeping up with that sort of stuff. You're paying attention. You've got the ear to the ground.
Just that if anyone is keeping up with the Joe Perry thing, he did cancel his fall tour from his illness, but he's still going to resume doing the Vegas tour with Aerosmith for their 50th anniversary. So.
Wow. You know, I want a podcast I think would be good to do in the future might be bands that, like, it's okay to stop.
Yeah.
Not like, I think if as long as you want to play music, you should play music.
Right.
But I'm talking about as that particular band. You know what I mean? Because, like, okay, there's like one guy in Starship. Like the conga player or something.
I'm going to see Quiet Riot, and it's just Frankie Benali at this point.
That's like not right. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's not. Frankie should play music. I'm sure he loves music. He should be fucking playing music, and he should do it. He shouldn't call it Quiet Riot. Sorry, but
thankfully it's all of Aerosmith still.
And I think that we can. I think that might be a good topic for a future podcast, but. I think we are just going to go ahead at this point and just call it a podcast. A lot of fun. Even if the listener, didn't like it, you can go fuck yourself because we had a good time.
That's all that matters.
And no matter what you do, you need to share the podcast because of the bands, whether you liked our presentation or not. If you didn't like what we were doing, like I said, go fuck yourself. It's fine.
People love us.
Just go fuck yourself. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, but go fuck yourself. Share the podcast. Let the world know about these killer bands. We didn't even get around to 86 Bullets.
No, we didn't.
I'm going to play them on the outro. I'm going to skip my own music. We're going to play 86 Bullets on the outro. We'll play the whole song. Okay, so 86 Bullets gets their due. But we had Circadian, and that is SERKEIDIAN.com. Mishti. We played Mishti. MISHTI.com. All these people with hard to spell shit. Alter the Design. Easy. AlterTheDesign.com. So go check all those bands out. Like, if you dig them, like, download something. Like, buy a fucking $1 download. Do something. Show, like, get a t-shirt. Get a bumper sticker. Do something.
Go to a show.
Go to a fucking... Well, that's not always possible.
But it's
because these bands are from all over the world. Like, I get it. You can't go to shit, but do something. At least share.
If you're in the area, you should be supporting the show, though.
Share the podcast because this is how you're going to... Because your friends are going to be like, they don't know what's going on. So you can... if you're hanging out with people on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, the reason they're in your circle is because you guys all dig the same shit. So if you find a cool band like Circadian, you need to share it so that they can hang out with it too. You're actually doing your friends a favor because you're showing how cool you are because you know what the cool fucking music is. Okay, so share the podcast around. I really appreciate it. We are going to get out of here. Our website, by the way, is Loudini, rockandrollcircus.com. Check back often. Lots of cool podcasts. We're doing. I think we put out like 4 interviews this week that just went up. So check that out. You can find that at Loudini, rockandrollcircus.com. It's on iTunes. If you're listening to an artist interview and you go like, that guy's really cool, I want to mention a guy I've had on twice now, Neil Fitzsimon. Neil's just a great songwriter, guitar player, kind of a Mick Ronson influenced guitar player. They have a project called Fitzsimon and Brogan. It's very, very cool in that sort of Spiders from Mars kind of sound. Like I had him on. I mean, just tons of very fucking cool people. Love Stallion. Lily loves great rock and roll. Love Stallion's a really great like old school rock band.
I like them a lot.
And you get to like hear what these guys are talking about. Check this podcast out. Share them around. Let the world know. I mean, I'm not selling you anything. I'm just telling you to go listen. Here's some cool music to go fucking listen to.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's all we're trying to do here. So check that out at Loudini, rockandrollcircus.com. We really appreciate you guys doing that. We're going to wrap up the show with the band 86 Bouillet. Oh, no, Bullets. Bouillet is a bourbon I like to drink. Together, 86 Bullets on the Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus. Lily V6, thank you so much.
Always.
Couldn't do it without her. Really looking forward to having Keith back with us next week. You guys are great. We love you. Facebook, we love you. Rock Rage Radio, thank you so much for putting up with our bullshit. And we'll talk to you guys all in the next Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus.
Escape from this life, moving through its silent fears, in a prison of this world with only one way out of here. Are you walking to the light, lost in the abyss? Is there reason for it all? Do you accept or resist? Trapping down the endless room of time, seeing all the dreams in your eyes. You look for meaning in your life, but there's nothing there to find. Through fields of fire, you are searching deep inside, trapping down the endless room of time, seeing all the dreams in your eyes. We're all in this together until the day beginnings with no endings, things we don't understand. Hope, faith,
I'm talking about next week's show. I'm sorry, guys. We are whores, and we'd love to know what you want us to talk about. So if you have some suggestions, let us know. You can send a private message, leave a comment on the video, whatever. Also, we're going to jump over to my private group. You can catch that at lombardimusic.com/inner circle. You can sign up for that and get in there. And we're going to jump over and talk about what we're going to do on next week's show. I think I've got a really good topic planned out. We'll run it by Lily and the rest of you guys. Chris knows about it. Chris, if you want to share the link, go ahead. And we're going to catch you guys all next time, man. It was a lot of fun. We love Rock Rage Radio. We love being live. And we're going to do this again real soon. So, all right, I'm going to log off of this craziness. YouTube. I don't know if we even did any YouTube business tonight.
What's the look?
YouTube. We're going to check it out real quick. Let's jump over there. And no. No messages on YouTube.
It'll catch on
But
eventually.
that's okay. We're working on it. We're new to that, so. All right, guys. You guys take care. Have a great week, and we'll catch you guys all in the next Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Signing off Facebook right now. Okay, I caught a couple more comments here. I'd like to mention something. We're gonna go. We'll talk to you guys next week.
And passion in your heart. There's only one way out. It's time to
Goodbye, YouTube. We love you too.